Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get started with another DC Universe Online video. We are trying this new raid called Monsters of Metal. Basically, what is going to happen is there's going to be three bosses that we're going to try to take care of, that we're going to see in here, but there will be some special ones coming at the end of the mission, and you will basically be able to see them. And I'm gonna name them. The first one you are going to play is Mr. Freeze. You are making it to Mr. Freeze because right now we are in a reality with this metal card, and that is shaping and forming what they want to see in Gotham, in different parts of Gotham. But remember, when you are tanking this, you want to grab as much as you possibly can so you can protect the group. But remember, when you are tanking and a guy moves in front of you and does not really see where you are actually tanking, it is okay because sometimes they're going to have to fall from learning from those mistakes. But the one thing I wanted to shout out for you guys, anybody who picks up the sword and MOM, please realize that you guys are going to do more damage towards the shardlings than anything else. You are going to take out the shardlings as much as you possibly can. And basically what this is going to show you is that your precision on how you know what to do and how you need to do it. Because what happens is over time the shardlings will explode and destroy a group, and they have massive damage. At this part it could be very tricky. Pull as much as you can little by little. Do not pull everything all at once because the group will get basically confined in a space where they're not basically utilizing the most space that they possibly can have. I moved up on the mountain so I could get them to slip, so they had their rotation of time doing actually moves were not actually going to be correctly done, or basically canceled out because they would be sliding and not be moving properly. One thing that I was able to do was throw up a lot of shields while I was doing this. I have consumables that I actually consumed that I would actually be able to freeze and gravitate characters to the ground. Tanks should have that in their loadout because what happens as you will be getting stuck in a period of time, but their dominance while throwing that consumable on the ground will control the effect of what the enemy is doing for the particular time frame where it's trying to damage your HP. And it's very helpful for times to get out of tight spots. Likewise, in this last part, in this beginning part, I should say not last, but very beginning, and basically we are just making our way through ads and making ourselves much more closer towards the boss fight, Mr. Freeze, and we will talk a little bit more about that. But for most part, thank you guys for watching. Continue watching, and I'll see you guys very soon, and I will explain what you guys got to do next in the next stage. Peace. So let's get this very, very easy information out to you guys as soon as possible. What's going to happen is you are going to need a shield. You're going to need to know how to stay in protective areas to keep yourself safe. And last but not least, stay away from damage. What is going to happen? This ice giant is right now using a certain move that will break the sculpture of the ice barrier around Mr. Freeze. But first of all, we need to turn the heat on around him from the outside. What tanks would usually do will have one person do it, or you would have a controller that thinks very highly of themselves and throws up shields for themselves to actually do this and perform this task very easily. But if you rock around and you move counterclockwise or counterclockwise and you move in any direction, you must most likely have to pull those little bigger those ice giants, those little ice giants compared to the big ice giant, the grand one, the big one. And basically what happens is these ice sculptures has a protective shield. After it goes down, you are able to go and make your move towards the bigger ice giant, and he is going to use a certain particular move, and he's going to ram into the ice sculpture that is protecting Mr. Freeze. What is happening now is we are trying to make a maneuver on Mr. Freeze so we can get him to come out, so he can actually be able to find out what's wrong with him and why is he acting like this and why is this area like this. And from what we have predicted in the ending of it is that he has one of the metal cards that we need to obtain and destroy so we can stop this reality from being a reality. From what's happening right now is he throws up a skull in situation. You have to direct him. The direction on who he's following is exactly who he's gonna be lunging towards and using that certain move towards. I would tell you, you guys would not like to burn him that much because he needs to do what he needs to do for the game to be operating the way it needs to be at optimal speed. And basically, I would tell you guys, no lie, you guys will have to stay clear of all damage. And basically, what I'm going to be using is my tug and pulling them and trying to get him to be as close as he possibly can. He does certain damage, but the whole point is to stay alive until the sculpture of the ice barrier goes down. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling as much as I possibly can. I'm healing myself. I'm throwing shields. I'm trying to protect myself and do all these nice things before it goes down. So now it's correctly down and Mr. Freeze is out of his chair and he's attacking. Next, you have to hit those two flames on the throne seat that he was sitting in the middle to actually get him to actually be burnt a little bit quicker, because what happens now, the damage was basically shortened, meaning you would be hitting for not high enough damage where you will burn him completely fast as normal rates. So basically we turn those on and we basically turn on the heat, and basically he has a couple moves. He has a single target move. He has an AoE move where he puts everybody in ice sculptures and basically fills them up with a bunch of ice and basically keeps them like that. He uses hand blasters and he one-handed. Likewise, when you are burning ads, the shardlings is what you're going to be burning if you have the sword. The small shardlings is what you're going to be burning if you have the small sword. Because what happens is, the more less shardlings, the less more additional damage that can be dished out towards enemies like ourselves while he's putting them up as his allies. Okay, so you want to take those shardlings out as fast as possible. You do that with a group and you help them. You make the damage focus on what it needs to be on Mr. Freeze himself, and you help the group progressively move in the right direction on completing this mission. Okay, I hope that was not a lot of information. It was pretty brief. I learned this a lot along the way. I learned by myself by looking at the animation and stuff. I wasn't scared too much. You can actually interrupt some of his moves. So he does walk around with a one-handed, and he does have hand blasters. So please enjoy. As we get ready to take the beginning stages to make it to Poison Ivy, MOM regular, and this is not elite, I just wanted to let you guys know, if you are tanking, please let your group know what your situation is. Are we going to fight through all the ads? Are we going to make our way through the end? Or are we going to try to slip through? Because remember, the style of what they're moving at is speed, flying, acrobatic, and scheming. Okay? So depending on what the movement is, you can draw more enemies to come and bring them over to the end. But if everyone does not know what to do, if you do not type it in the group chat or whatever, or you don't say it in the chat room, you guys will have a problem with communication on knowing what you are actually going to do for those time beings. So you got to be able to be very clear and very much exclusive to your group to let them know what's going to go on. Because what happens is, people move in front and they do things and then they fall, and then they wonder, why did I fall? And guys don't understand, DPSs are not tanks, healers are not tanks, and most definitely trollers are not tanks.
It's up to you to take the fight to Poison Ivy.
Okay, welcome back. So we are now moving towards Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy always needs to get a defensive debuff, healing debuff, and a precision debuff if you want to be a little bit more nicer about that side. For tanks or DPSs that get hit pretty hard that need a little bit of a buff of it. It's pretty short of a buff, but it's not gonna really do too much, but it does a decent amount where you can see it. It does something. Okay, so one thing I would let you know is that the tank is supposed to pull everything towards him, and with the spores being there, it's going to be another issue. But what happens is I have a consumable that you are able to hit to actually levitate and bring gravity to your feet and bring them to their feet. But what I gotta tell you is that when you bring everything closer to you and let everyone DPS, it makes everything so much better, keeping everything together so it's not over there. So this is a supercharge that she was able to hit with the little vines. Basically what happens is I would tell you behind closed doors and anything else, hide behind the tree pillars to save your life. There is two options that you can go into. There's something in the middle from the north of you and then something at the south of you. Okay, so basically there's a healing one and then there's ones with cuffs on them not too far from there. So the ones that I'm seeing is north is the one with the healing effect up there, and then the ones with the cuff is going to be south of me, behind me. So basically I would tell you to hide behind those situations. When she hits those situations, you have at least 7 seconds to get out of that area where she's about to hit you in, and she basically does that, and then she hits you with a controlling effect. So that basically works and ties into what her animation is going to be able to do for you. I will let you know exactly that she uses hand blasters, and basically that's her weapon that she uses. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. It's a lot of maneuvering around and getting away. She just hit her vine situation. She's about to go and hit her supercharge. I'm going behind the tree so I don't take damage. So from what you can see, everyone's life went down pretty much dramatically. So she moves you all the way down to 35%. And that puts a lot of stress on the healers, because if the healer can't quickly heal you as quick and then you take damage like that, you're going to see a problem in the sense of like trying to get back your own health. If you drink the soda and all that type of stuff, you're going to see a lot of issues with that. You want to stay away from less damage as much as you possibly can, because what happens is that you will see yourself surviving in these fights a little bit more longer, and likewise be able to see the final and grand treatment, what YouTubers do not to die or fall in missions and be knocked out. You want to be able to make a good video without being knocked out. This is a way. You staying alive is exactly what you need to do. So what we are doing in Poison Ivy is I'm pulling the spores around myself, and I'm trying to get them as close as I possibly can, hitting my trinkets and my consumables so I can keep them down on the ground so my teammates can actually do damage. I'm staying away from Poison Ivy. I'm trying to get her attention, but still do it in a well way where I'm not going to be damaged, and do that for a good possible time being, and you will be perfectly fine. Likewise, when you are controlled, the controller should throw a defensive debuff to actually get you off the control situation as fast as possible, because what happens is if the healer's controlled, there's going to be a limited amount of healing going on for a certain period of time. If the troller is going to be trolled, the power is going to have a little bit of shortening for a period of time. If the tank is being trolled, basically the group is now at Poison Ivy mercy, because of the fact that if I'm not tanking or somebody else can't tank or jump in and quickly see that and stop that problem, Poison Ivy's damage over time, or damage in general, is very heavy. So it's very scary for anybody who is a DPS, troller, or healer. That stuff can be very scary. Okay, so I definitely will let you know. Hiding behind the tree pillars, finding shelter for certain situations on moves when you see skulls, very important. Being controlled, trollers are supposed to throw defensive debuffs on the characters who are controlled, and pretty much that's it, and you'll be pretty much fine in here coming in with Poison Ivy's fight, and you will have to break and destroy the metal card and get her back to reality and make her see what she has not been seeing with the power that she was given. So I hope to see you guys soon. I'm going to talk to you about the last boss and what you are going to see for the last boss.
down the Batman Who Laughs. They'll meet you up ahead. Hopefully Superman is there too.
These knockoff Robins do whatever it takes.
But I doubt you have the metal.
So we made it to the Batman Who Laughs. So this is the last mission. I will let you guys know that his HP does not being affected by your damage, but you will see the numbers and the ticks, but you would not see his health ever move. This situation is a survival mode situation. We are closing portals with the alloy, or you are putting it into the spear where Batman and Superman are hanged up and chained towards this machine that is going to change the multi-universe for a great matter of time and put us into a dark multi-universe, not knowing what is going to happen with these alloys that we are collecting, this metal points. So what's going to happen is that you're going to have 2 DPSs or whatever roles you want, because what happens is, okay, I rather would tell you DPSs should do that, because what happens is usually this will not be a DPSing situation unless you really wanted to make it to, because what happens is if you have a really good decent tank, he can stay alive in many situations. But remember, having a troller that can actually cause effects where you can freeze or stun the Robins is really important too, because what happens is this situation could get very scarish, because you can have like 11 Robins on you and you have to be running back and forth and running back and forth and running back and forth. And they have this move where they keep you grounded and they keep on biting your character, meaning you're pinned on the ground, and basically what happens is you are shortly stopped for a period of time, and while other characters are damaging you and whatnot. So you want to be very careful with those type of situations. Red Death is out. He has a lot of interruptible moves that you can lunge him and interrupt his moves. Robin, you got to be able to just keep him away from you and pull them as close as you possibly can. Run and maneuver, hit that the consumable that to freeze them in the spot, like those type of things, is and push them in the air. Let them keep on being affected with your dominance, because you do not want them to just maneuver whenever they want or do whatever they want, because what happens is they have certain moves that can take you out, and you got to be able to break out of it. It's a breakout situation. Sometimes you're not allowed to break out of it, and sometimes you are, so be careful with that. Basically the Batman Who Laughs, you just have to contain him as much as you possibly can. Just don't let him get onto any of your teammates. Let him stay focused on you. Red Dem, he's basically going to be maneuvering around against other characters on the map. Likewise, the Merciless, you got to make sure that you get his attention immediately onto you, so he can keep on staying on top of you as a tank. And what you're doing is, while you're doing all of this, you are surprisingly hoping that they're going to be getting the alloy that they need, so that they put into the spear. So what happens is that you are trying to do this for a period of time, from what you guys see on one side, and I see someone's fighting all the way over there to get that guy. I'm gonna try to pull as much ads as I possibly can. I probably have at least 15 ads on me, and I need to breathe, so I just kind of like went to go to another side, and I was like, damn, this is, and sometimes that could be a problem, because I could be ruining it for the people who are carrying the alloy. The Merciless has supercharged moves where he actually has moves that he can hit a whole group and knock them all out. Red Death has single target moves and push off moves that can push you back if you're holding the alloy. You gotta just be very careful with those type of things. You just gotta keep pulling. Staying beside your person who with the alloy is better than staying in front of the person. Staying beside, shoulder to shoulder, will help you help your character move forward. And at that point in moment, you will see the mission will be done, and you will basically be able to go on to the next part, meaning having fun, whatever you got to do for the rest of the day. And that is going to be a total lump sum of this whole situation in a bunch. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I know that I haven't came up with anything like this before, as like this new DLC, as this raid situation, but I hope you guys enjoy this. Alloy, take care of that. 2 DPSs. Everyone could change into roles. It's a survival mode. If you really wanted to, you can have 2 tanks, 3 tanks, tank on any side, and basically keep the healer in the middle, making sure the healer keeps on focus on the one who's usually the weakest tank, because the weakest tank would usually be, no matter how strong you are, the weakest tank will usually be the tank that has more ads on him, because the damage is coming in way more closer. And for everybody else, controllers, make sure your controlling effects is keeping up to date with freezing and stunning ads and working on your dominance. And you will see a lot of things happen for you in this group. As a total, we did this so quickly, and we did it in probably like 20 minutes.
I'm getting reports of disasters across the globe. We're sinking into unreality. This is truly dire. You may want to prepare for the worst, but I'm gonna work on a plan.
Like, subscribe, and share this video, and come back for more DC Universe Online videos. And my name is Chris Dash, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.